Welcome, seriously, welcome to a John Legg Fragrance review. You know what? I love the fact that you've come to this channel. I really appreciate your company, and I would love it if you would thumbs up and if you would subscribe. I'd be grateful, I'd be honoured, and I'd be so pleased. So what do we do on this fragrance channel? We look at fragrance and we try and keep fragrance fun. Take the fun out of fragrance and it's not worth bothering with. So let's try and keep a smile on your face. Tom Ford. Oh yes, Tom Ford. Wow. Legendary, crazy, wacky designer and perfumer. Tom Ford puts out a lot of fragrances. They're mostly quite wacky and crazy and amazing. Problem is with Tom Ford, his prices are painful, okay? The average bottle of Tom Ford, which you normally buy a 50ml because you can almost afford a 50ml, you're looking between £200 and £250 for the average Tom Ford fragrance. You know what? I don't actually own a bottle of an original Tom Ford because of that simple reason that I believe it's overpriced, okay? But the problem is I do love Tom Ford's fragrances. Let's talk about Copycat UK. You know, if you've been here before, you know I'm a massive fanboy of Copycat UK because they put out a lot of fragrances. And, I mean, look at this. Look what it says on the back of the bottle. Made in England. Okay, so that's one good thing about Copycat UK. They're made in England. The other good thing about them is that they all perform amazingly. Okay, when you spray it on your skin, you see like an oily residue and you know it's going to project and last well. And they do. I haven't come across a Copycat UK fragrance that doesn't perform well. Okay? The other good thing is they're all, for 100ml, they're all around about the £50 mark. And for me, when we're in a recession, you know, with the economic crisis and all that sort of thing, that's a good price for an amazing fragrance. And they're all inspired by very expensive, whether it's a Creed Aventus, whether it's a Tom Ford, they're all inspired by really expensive fragrances. They're produced in the UK, they're reasonable price, and they all perform well. Now, we looked at a few recently, which if you look at my other reviews, you'll see them. But we're going to look at one which is inspired by Tom Ford effing fabulous, okay? They call it on the website fabulous. When you get the bottle, and you know it doesn't come in a box, fair play to Copycat UK, keep it nice and simple, little velvet bag, and inside you get a bottle and it says Fab. Okay, now I've had this for about a month. And about a month ago I sprayed it on me and I was expecting, with the name of Fabulous, I was expecting to be sort of blown away, smashed up against the wall and absolutely wowed. And I was like I've smelt this sort of thing before, and I put it away for a while, I put it in my wardrobe and I didn't wear it for a couple of weeks, and I thought, I was kind of a little bit disappointed that it wasn't a complete fabulous fragrance. However, recently I thought, come on Leggy, get it out the wardrobe and give it another chance. And I sprayed it and I was like, do you know what? I actually do love this fragrance. Let's have a cheeky spray and let's try and tell you how this fragrance works out for you. So let's get it the right way around. Okay. It'll put a smile on your face because it's typical wacky Tom Ford bizarre kind of fragrance. It doesn't follow mainstream stuff. He does his own thing. Fair play to Tom Ford. The Copycat UK version. Now, when in 2017 this effing fabulous Tom Ford was launched, I went and smelt it in a department store, and I remember at the time thinking, that's kind of quite different. It's not absolutely my kind of fragrance. And I was like, it's quite nice. Okay, so it's been a few years since I've smelt that original. However, my memory of that tells me that this is an amazing copy. I don't think, although obviously I can't do one on each wrist as it were, from memory, this is about a 90s, maybe 95% copy of the original effing fabulous Tom Ford. Okay. First of all, it's a fascinating fragrance. It's not just a, yeah, it's all right sort of thing. It's got a lot of depth to it. Now, if you've ever tried Tom Ford Lost Cherry, or even the copycat version, which is just called Cherry, okay, that's why I thought to myself, I've smelt it before, because I'm a massive fan of Lost Cherry or Cherry, and it's essentially, that's what I got from the first smell of it. Okay, I got the cherry and I got like a mild sort of leather note, and I was like, I've smelt it before. However, the more you smell this fab, okay, the more it sort of gets going, as it were, the more you realise that there's a lot more going on in this, and it certainly isn't a very straightforward linear fragrance, okay. Yes, you've got that sort of cherry almond vibe, okay, but this time, instead of it being like the cherry in Cherry is like a toddler being let off the reins and it just goes wild sort of thing, okay, that's Cherry. It's like wearing a Bakewell, Cherry Bakewell. The cherry is just crazy in that one. In this one, the cherry almond vibe is there, but it's like boxed in by a few other notes. Predominantly, you've got that sort of leather note, but it's not a harsh leather note. It's not that ultra sort of 1980s, put the leather in the fragrance and you become a man. It's not that kind of leather. In fact, I would say it's more like a suede than a leather, perhaps. The other notes that keep the cherry on the reins, as it were, is there's a lot of lavender in there. There's a lot of vanilla, and there's actually, one of my favourite notes, there's a lot of tonka, okay? There is another slightly floral note. It's not a rose, I'm not too sure what it is, but there is another floral note bouncing around in there. But this, I say, is an intriguing fragrance. It's not just a sniff and go, it's a keep sniffing it and keep thinking about it. Okay, who could wear this? You know what, I don't call this a teenage fragrance. It's way too complex and too mature. You know what, a teenager could get away with wearing cherry because it's a kind of fun, in-your-face cherry Bakewell fragrance. But this, in my nose, is a lot more mature. So I would say you've got to be in your 30s, perhaps, upwards, to wear this. Is it a summer? Is it a winter? Now this is a tricky one, because I always say, you know what, if you like it, just wear it all year round. But I would say that this is more not a really cold and not a really warm. It's more, maybe for me, it would be a spring or an autumn fragrance. That's it. Okay, so it's a sort of a mild weather fragrance. Okay. Okay, I'm not too sure whether this is marketed as unisex. I can picture a woman wearing it, but I would say it definitely leans more towards a masculine fragrance. All right. Like I say, the performance is amazing. You know what? I've only sprayed one little spray on there, and that is, you know what, I'm constantly hit by this fragrance. And I say it leaves like an oily residue on your skin, and it's going to last a long time. I've used it on my neck, on my arms, and I've worn it, and people have said to me, I like it. They say, I like what you're wearing, Leggy, and they all presume I'm wearing Lost Cherry, because that, although it's restrained by those other notes, realistically, that sort of cherry almond vibe is really the one that you pick out in your nose straight away. That's why when I smelt it when it first came out, I thought, it's not that fabulous, although it's got the name of fabulous. I've smelt it before. Is it worth buying then Cherry and Fab, or Lost Cherry and effing Fabulous? Do you need both? That is a tricky one. Okay. I would say there's enough difference in them that you could have both, but if you want the fun cherry one, go Cherry. If you want the more mature cherry almond one, go for Fab or Fabulous. Right. I really appreciate you coming to this channel. I would love it if you would thumbs up. If you're just about to go, oh, I don't like this review, put your thumbs down. Please don't take it too seriously. I'm just a guy with a hobby. I'm not a professional. I'm just going to give you my thoughts and maybe give you some ideas of what you ought to buy. So stay safe, stay happy, spray fragrance every day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.